Dr. Dipendra Kumar Mazumder of the National Academy of Broadcasting and Multimedia, Prasar, Bharati, whose topic is the Bhakti ingrained in the Naam-Singho, Paapo-Hosti symbol of the Neo Vaishnavites of Assam, or Ahom as many people call it.
My greetings to the chairperson of this session. Hare Krishna, Namaskar and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen present here in the auditorium. I'm Dr. Dipendra Kumar Mazumder, presently serving as a faculty in the National Academy of Broadcasting and Multimedia, which is the apex training institution of Prasar Bharati, the public service broadcaster of India. And in this presentation of mine, I would like to take you along with me to the northeastern state of Assam, and particularly to the form of Vaishnavism that is prevalent there, and more specifically to the practices of that Vaishnavism. So I'll be dealing with a particular symbol, which is a very revered symbol of the Neo-Vaishnavites of Assam. So at the very beginning, my salutations to the great saint of Assam, Srimanta Shonkordev, who was born in 1449 and died in 1569, living a very eventful life of 120 years. And this saint was the person who had spearheaded the Neo-Vaishnavite movement in Assam. So Shankardev, during his lifetime, had embarked on 2 long pilgrimages. This is a depiction of the first one, and in this pilgrimage he had toured all the places that you can see in the map of our motherland, and this took him 12 years. And it was during this pilgrimage that he came into contact with many of the Vaishnavite scholars who were spreading Vaishnavism in the rest of the country. And after returning back from this pilgrimage after 12 years, he started the form of Vaishnavism which is still prevalent in Assam and is has the highest number of followers. So here you can see I have given a breakup according to the religion in the state of Assam. So Neo-Vaishnavites form 35% of the population of Assam, as this is based on the 2011 census. Now, the heart and soul of Neo-Vaishnavism in Assam is the monastery, which we call the Hotro. Now, that was not only the heart and soul of Neo-Vaishnavism, but that was also the cauldron of the Assamese culture. So, the Hotro, as I said, is the cauldron of the Assamese culture also. But again, it is also the mother of art and craft, because the traditional crafts which we see today, they had all evolved out of the monastery which we call the Hotro. So here you can see the masks. Now, the first of the religious drama was enacted by Shankardev, and in that, to present the divine figures on stage, he had to take recourse to the use of masks, like the one here you see of Hanuman and the other of the Narasimha. So this is still practiced today. Even in the columns of the Namghar, I'll come to the Namghar specifically, that is again the soul of a Hotra or the monastery, is the congregational prayer hall. Even there, the columns of the Namghar, you can see that Narada has been sculptured in a particular log, a sculpture in round. And on the other side, you can see Vishnu on Garuda in wood. Now, they are still there. They were once in use, but now they have been kept in a museum in a place called Bordua. So even you can see Garuda holding up the roof frame of a Namghar. So they are all there, the divinities, so as to inspire the devotees in the Bhakti Marg. But I should clarify one thing, that these images are not to be worshipped in the Neo-Vaishnavism in Assam. The revered thing in Neo-Vaishnavism are the scriptures, like the scriptures in Sikh religion. No image worship actually goes on there. Though there is a particular subsect of Neo-Vaishnavism, they do adore and worship the image of Krishna, only Krishna. So even the walls of the Namghar, you can see there are episodes, if you go through it, which we call the parikrama. So when you go through it, you can see the episodes from Bhagavad Purana. They are all sculptured there. Now, this is the Namghar which I was referring to, and this is the heart of a hotro. Now, what is inside the Namghar? We'll try to see it in the next slide. This is the congregational prayer hall. Now, the layout of a Namghar is usually in the form of a tortoise. So, on the top of it, in the diagram, you can see it's called Monikoto, the house of jewel, that usually faces the east. And on the opposite side, we have the Hingho Dwar, or that's the main entrance for the devotees to the Namghar. We have a northern door, which is called the door of Vaikunt. That is usually the door by which the abbots, they enter into the Namghar. And the southern door, or it's called the door of hell or Norok, that is usually when the prasadam or thing is taken in the Namghar and the waste material is taken out through the southern door and not through any other door. This is the Hingho Dwar, or the Singha Dwar of the Bordwa Namghar. This is in Nagaon district of Assam. So you usually have that, you see the Kirti Mukh sort of a thing, symbol out there. That identifies the Hingho Dwar, or the entrance for the general public into the Namghar. Now, this is the inside of the Namghar. What is of our interest is the throne that you see at the very end of it. I'll bring it into more sharper focus. But this is the precincts of a Namghar, or the congregational prayer hall. Yeah. So this is the Hinghahon, or the throne. And what I was referring to a few minutes ago, that the most revered thing in Neo-Vaishnavism in Assam is the Holy Scriptures. And the Holy Scriptures are kept right on top there. It's called the Amohi Ghar. And usually this throne is 7-stepped, or 5-stepped, or 9-stepped. It goes on in odd numbers. The Holy Scriptures, the most revered article or the most revered object in Neo-Vaishnavism in Assam. So here you can see in Borpeta, the devotees are taking the Holy Scriptures for a round of the city. On a particular day, it's done. Usually on the birth anniversary of the Gurus, Shonkardev and Madhavdev. So this is the total Neo-Vaishnava spirituality, the congregational prayer, and usually we have 14 sessions per day. But for a layman, it is not possible to conduct 14 prasangas. They usually confine themselves to one in the morning and one in the evening, but in the Namghar, 14 prasangas go every day. Now, this is the Hinghahon, or the altar. Now, I will try to draw your attention to the corners of the Hinghahon. You find something there. There is a symbol there. We will go into sharper focus now. This is the symbol that you see there. At the very base of the Hinghahon, the first stair, it rests on, at the very bottom of it, you see a tortoise. Riding on the tortoise is an elephant, and riding on the elephant is a lion. But in the tiers above the basic one, you can find only the lion and the elephant. This is the Naam-Singho Paapo-Hosti icon of the Neo-Vaishnavites of Assam. This is a very, very revered symbol. Naam-Singho is the lion, and Paapo-Hosti is the elephant. It is not that this symbol is to be found only in the throne or the Hinghahon. It can be found even in many other places, and even in public places in Assam today. This is at the entrance or the gate of the Bordwa Than, or the Bordwa Hotra. Next, but usually because this was established by Shonkardev himself, we call it the Than. Here, these are the doors in Bordwa Than, but they are plated with copper. And on the copper plates also you can see that symbol being embossed there. This is again the gateway of Hotro in Majuli in Assam. Majuli, as you remember, if you recall, it's the largest inhabited island in the world. This is the Goramur Hotro. There also on both sides of the this gate you can see that symbol there. Here notice something, that the lion has wings on it is very, very evident now. Now, this is of a children's prayer hall in Guwahati. What a couple they did was that they tried to initiate the children into Vaishnavism, and so since they had to be taught in a different way, so they had made a very small namghor. This is only for the children, and there they are taught why is this thing done, how should you enter the namghor, what are the ways that you conduct yourself there. So even in the entrance you can see that symbol is there. Next. As I was saying, you can see the symbol in a lot of public places also. This is in the welcome column of a district in Assam, Bishwanath Sarli district. You can see on the welcome column also, focus your attention on the top of it, the crest. That same symbol is there. Next slide, I'll bring it to sharp focus. That is it. So it's also in many public places. It is not only confined to the Namghor. Next slide. It's also in a park in Kivohagor. So this is the Lolipraspa park, and even there you can see the symbol. Yes, next slide please. This is in Tezpur. So there in terracotta you can see I have exploded that what was there near the Shiva image. You can see there was some terracotta. I have exploded it, and there you can see the symbol is there. That's made in terracotta. Next slide please. So this is in Bordwa. So in a lot of public places you can see the symbol. Next slide please. This is in a wall in a Hotra in Mirza in Assam. So there also you can see that same symbol. The elephant is in grey and the lion is in red. Next slide. Next slide please. So even in doors of Hotra or in palanquins also, in the posts of a palanquin also you can see that symbol there. Next. This is in Kalakshetra in Assam, so it's a cultural center. Even there you see this symbol. Next slide please. This is made in sand, from the sand of Brahmaputra river. They had made it, there was a festival there. So this symbol was made out of sand. Just like in Puri we find the Patnaik making that out of sand. Next slide please. Now what does it signify? We have seen the symbol, we have seen that it is resident in the Namghor, it is resident in its gates, in the entrances, it is also resident in many of the public places, but what does it mean? This has different connotations, but I will confine myself to the connotations and the denotations of this symbol according to whatever is being accepted by the Neo-Vaishnavas of Assam only. Next slide please. So usually, as you see for common man, it's called a murti. Now, behind the creation of a murti, it's usually that there should be rasa, that's evocation of human sentiment. When you see that murti, there should be artha or meaning, there should be chanda or rhythm, and there should be rupa or form. So the symbol on the study, this Naam-Singho Paapo-Hosti of the Neo-Vaishnavas of Assam, can be described as a spiritual art. It's an art, but it's a spiritual art because of its revitalizing and contemplative capacity. Next slide, please. Alfred, just remind me, how much more time do I have? Oh, just 4-5 slides, yes? So please skip this. This is how I had studied. Next slide, please. Kurma or the tortoise. Here you can see the Samudra Manthan sculpture which is in the Suvarna Bhumi airport in Bangkok. So here the kurma is here at the bottom of the posts in a particular hotra. Here the whole throne is resting on the back of a kurma. This was the survey that I had done, and the results that came from the survey was that the tortoise represented the restraint which is to be exercised by a devotee. Because in our day-to-day life, next slide please, we are always exposed to temptations from various forms of vices. Now, just like when a tortoise, it encounters danger, it pulls its limbs and head inside its shell. Similarly, when a human encounters such temptations, this is also written in Bhagavad Gita. We are supposed to withdraw our senses inside. So the kurma represents the devotee who has exercised restraint. But how can he do that? Now I'll come to the elephant. What does the elephant mean? Now the elephant comes from the Gajendra episode. If you remember, he was the king of the elephants. And he was so proud and arrogant that once it so happened he had gone to quench his thirst in the pond, and that crocodile caught its foot. For 1,000 years it said that that duel went on, but still because of his ego, he would not ask for help from anybody, but at the end he had to take refuge in Vishnu. And then Vishnu came and he had cut off that crocodile and set free the elephant. So the elephant here symbolizes arrogance and pride. So that's also, it's in the Artkelia Namori in Jurhat. So that whole episode has been frozen in cement in that. So there is another version that the elephant, when Krishna had gone for the duel with his uncle Kangsha, so Kangsha had sent this elephant to stop Krishna. But Krishna had encountered that elephant, Kuvoloi, and the Mahout was Ambasta, and he had pulled out the trunks. So even from there, that connotation of elephant representing sin comes. So this was the survey that I had done, and majority of them, you can see the tallest bar, they said the elephant represents sin. Now we come to the lion. So lion can be seen, it's not that it's seen in totality with that kurma and elephant. Sometimes it also has an individual existence. But here in this symbol, the lion represents the chanting of the name of the Lord. Now we can see the whole symbol in totality, that a devotee has to exercise restraint from temptation, but how can he or she do so? Only by taking the name of the Lord or chanting the name of the Lord. So as I said, this lion with the winged lion also has individual existence. This is in a crematorium in a wall, you can see that. This is in stone in Vishwanath Ghat in Assam. This is the result of the survey. So even in Bhagavad Puran we find, in Assamese it had been translated in Namgukha like Punno Oronnoro Maje Madhavaro Naam-Singho Prakaho Koroyoti Bore Jar Dhonni Kuni Bhoye Mohapap Hosti Soy Polayoti Trachotolo. That is, the elephant symbolizes sin, and when the elephant hears the roar of the lion, which is actually the name of the Lord, the elephant runs away in fear. So these are all the things from the Bhagavad Puran that even in nature you can see that, the lion dominating the elephant. Next. So the meaning of the symbol is chanting the name of the Lord can empower the human mind to resist the great temptation from vices and evil passions to fall prey to it. So this is the meaning of the symbol according to the Neo-Vaishnavism in Assam. Thank you very much.